The strange thing about getting everything you wanted is that sometimes the fastest way to discover what you should have avoided. She spent 3 years chasing a man who never fully belonged to her, not because he was married, not because he was unavailable, but because his heart was somewhere else. Every time she saw him, he spoke about another woman. Every achievement, every struggle, every plan somehow included her. It annoyed her. She hated hearing the woman's name, yet she never gave up. She listened to him complain about his relationship. She comforted him after argument. She became the shoulder he leaned on, and slowly she started believing something dangerous. If he left her, he would choose me. She waited patiently and strategically. She became the understanding woman, the supportive woman, the woman who never demanded anything. Then one day it happened. The relationship ended. The woman he had spent years with walked away, and just like she imagined, he came running straight to her. She could hardly believe it. The man she wanted was finally hers. The celebration started immediately. Pictures, trip, matching outfits, romantic caption, friends congratulated her. People called them the perfect couple. She smiled every time she heard those words. Perfect couple, if only they knew. The first sign appeared 2 months later. One evening, they were sitting together when his phone puzzled. He looked at the screen. For the first second, something changed in his face. Not excitement, not happiness, not something heavier, something that looked like a loss. He quickly looked at the phone and continued talking, but she noticed. She was she always noticed. That night while he slept, curiosity got the better of her. She checked his phone. The message was harmless. It wasn't even from another woman. It was a notification reminding him of an old picture memory, a picture from years ago, a picture of him and the woman he once loved. That should have been the end of it, except she noticed something else. The picture had been opened several times that day, not accidentally, deliberately. She said nothing, but something inside her shifted. Weeks passed. More strange things happened. He laughed less. He became quiet. Some nights he sat alone in the dark. Sometimes she would wake up and find him staring at the ceiling. Are you okay? She would ask. I'm fine. But he never looked fine. One afternoon, she finally asked the question she had been avoiding. Do you miss her? The room became silent. Not because he answered, because he didn't. And sometimes silence says more than words could. After the conversation, things became uncomfortable. He started competing with a ghost. Every restaurant reminded him of a memory. Every song reminded him of a moment. Every city reminded him of a trip. No matter what she did, another woman seemed to live inside their relationship. The worst part, the other woman wasn't even trying. The other woman wasn't even trying. She wasn't even calling. She wasn't texting. She wasn't fighting for him. She had moved on, yet somehow she was still winning. Months later, the truth arrived in a way nobody expected. A mutual friend visited their home. The conversation was casual until the friend said something that froze the entire room. You know, I saw her last week. Nobody needed to ask who. Everyone knew already. The friend continued. She looks happy, happier than I have ever seen her. He immediately looked away, but not before she saw it. The regret, the un the uncomfortable way he was sitting, the kind of regret people spend years trying to hide. That night, he could not sleep. For the first time, she stopped asking whether he loved her. Instead, she asked herself a different question. Did he choose me, or did he simply lose her? The answer terrified her because the signs had be there from the beginning. He never fought for her. He never chased her. He never risked anything for her. He simply arrived after someone else left. She wasn't his first choice. She wasn't the place he landed. And suddenly, everything made sense. The constant sadness, the emotional distance, the empty conversation, the feeling that she was sharing her relationship with someone who wasn't even there. One evening, she finally confronted him, not with anger, not with tears, just honesty. If she came back today, would you leave? He stared at her. A long silence followed. Then he whispered something she never forget. I don't know. That answer broke something inside her. Not because he chose another woman, but because after all this time, he still hadn't chosen her. The next morning, she sat alone by the window. The man she spent years wanting was simply in the next room. She had finally won. She had finally forgotten exactly what she wanted. And for the first time in her life, victory felt like punishment because she had spent years chasing a man without asking herself one important question: what if the price isn't worth the race? The relationship didn't end there. It didn't end that day, but the illusion did. And sometimes losing an illusion hurts more than losing a person because people can live, but dreams, but dreams can deceive you for years. And what was, and that was the day she discovered her biggest mistake wasn't loving the wrong man. It was believing that getting him would automatically make her happy.